When somebody says the word motorcycle, what do you see? I imagine something more or less like this. This is a Honda CB1100, and at least visually, for me, this is what motorcycles are all about.
Of course, I love the design of Triumph Bonneville or Kawasaki W800, but being 30-something, I remember motorcycles which look like the CB1100 from when I was a kid. I even own a Kawasaki Zephyr, which looks similar.
Before I set off, let me take you around this bike. First of all, Honda did have to save some money here and there. The price is around 11,000 euros, which is a lot of dough for a bike which has a limited practicality. You can see this cost saving, for example, on the wheels, which I would replace instantly with wire-spoked rims. And these dials here, I would cover them with something more elegant so they complement what I see from the rider's side. And the rider could use a gear indicator, maybe a thermometer, or even an average fuel consumption monitor. I mean, for this price, I wouldn't mind some pumpering. And this muffler, I mean, it's hideous. Probably the designer was walking through the warehouse after hours and he stumbled upon something and oh, there it is. And the worst thing is that, you know, when you switch it on, it sounds so generic, you know?
On the handlebars, Honda doesn't surprise us with the layout, maybe with the size, because this seems to be designed for a big rider.
And the rider should also be strong because the bike weighs almost 250 kilograms with liquids. Good thing CABS is standard because holding this much weight on your leg if the bike slips can be a bit of a challenge. The riding position is comfortable. I feel like the king of the road. If it wasn't for this visor, I would probably have bugs all over my teeth. The CB1100 is a classic. There is no wind protection whatsoever, so even if you're going 80, you feel like going about 180. From this perspective, the 5-speed gearbox makes sense. I mean, I would never be able to put it into 6th gear because the wind would just blow me off the seat. Speaking of the seat, it is a bit hard, so after 30-40 minutes of riding, you may want to take a break. And going back to gears, it makes sense to just keep it in the highest gear possible because the 4-cylinder engine just pulls from low revs. No problem at all. With a 14-liter tank and with fuel consumption at the level of around 4 or 5 liters per 100 kilometers, this is a great bike to ride on the weekend.
Yeah, weekend. Unless you live in a place where the sun always shines, riding this bike to work could be a bit of a challenge. I wouldn't think of putting my laptop even in a watertight backpack. I'd rather have a proper hard-case trunk, which would absolutely spoil this bike. And without a small windscreen, riding the CB1100 on a motorway is a pain in the rear. Plus, for this bike, you want clothes that are more stylish than practical. And then there's the price. This is more expensive than the Bonneville, than W800 or even Harley-Davidson Sportster. I still think the CB1100 is a beautiful bike, but it's more of a weekend toy than an everyday means of transport. And now, as it's Sunday, if you don't mind, I'll go and play with it some more.